y'all, Jamie from Country Diggers here. Today we're going to do another installment of Princesses Behaving Badly by Linda Rodriguez McRobbie. Today we're going to talk about Justa Grata Honoria, the princess who nearly wrecked the Roman Empire. Stay tuned, she's a good one. Justa Grata Honoria, the princess who nearly wrecked the Roman Empire, circa 417 to 452, the Roman Empire. When Roman Princess Justa Grata Honoria found herself about to be packed off to some backwater to be the docile wife of a yes man in service of her brother, Emperor Valentinian III, she sat down to write a letter to Attila the Hun. Seeking help from Rome's worst enemy didn't endear her to the emperor, and it didn't exactly solve her problem either. But if the emperor thought his sister would take the de facto banishment gracefully, he had obviously forgotten who she was. Honoria was the daughter of a strong-willed Galla Placidia Augusta herself the daughter of the late Roman Emperor Theodosius I, and Galla's second husband, Constantius III, Emperor of the Western Roman Empire. About 424, Constantius died, leaving Galla with two young children, 7-year-old Honoria and 6-year-old Valentinian, and a crisis of succession on her hands. By this time, the Roman Empire was in deep trouble. External pressure from raiding barbarian hordes was fueling internal political combustion. The empire was already split in two, ruled by co-emperors. Honoria grew up in an atmosphere of intrigue and uncertainty, witnessing her mother manipulate and bully those around her. Eventually, Galla's faction prevailed, and Valentinian III was crowned emperor of the western half of the empire. Honoria was forced to live out her days in the dull but strategically important city of Ravenna. By order of her brother, the emperor, she was forced into a life of Christian celibacy, a political rather than a pious decision, given that any man she married could lay claim to the empire. Adding insult to injury, Valentinian III was a worthless man of pleasure. Seems like all of the Roman empires were worthless men of pleasure, including the popes. But anyway, according to one classicist, and by no means her intellectual equal, for Honoria's consignment to days of quiet desperation in a dead-end Roman village probably felt like a life sentence without parole. The situation became even less tolerable when Valentinian married and had 2 daughters, who quickly began to eclipse her in political importance. In 449, Honoria's frustration reached a breaking point. Now 31 years old, about the same age as her mother when her second husband died, she became romantically involved with a man named Eugenius, steward of her estates. According to some less than kind and probably less than accurate biographers, Honoria plotted with Eugenius to murder her brother and seize the throne. It's likely this accusation was a meritless effort on the part of a few Christian historians to cast Honoria as a ruthless grasper. How much a scheme could have succeeded is unclear. But engaging in unapproved sex with an imperial princess was considered high treason. And when the relationship was found out, Eugenius was executed. Honoria was sentenced to a kind of living death. Her lover murdered, she was banished to Constantinople, capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, and betrothed to a boring Roman senator, loyal to her brother. Unsurprisingly, Honoria was not pleased. And that was when she pulled out her stationery set and started writing. Her plan was to hitch her wagon to a man with a track record of success. Leader of the Huns, since murdering his brother in 445, Attila was the most threatening of the barbarian invaders who had been eating away at the Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire under Honoria's brother was ready to fight him. But the East, where Honoria now resided, was somewhat more obsequious. I don't know. Obsequious. They had already tried unsuccessfully to pay off the Hun, to avoid an invasion. Taking her cue from the Eastern court, Honoria asked Attila to avenge her marriage. As 5th century historian John of Antioch put it, her letter conveyed by her trusty eunuch Hyrcanus was accompanied by money and a ring. Attila eagerly agreed. This was the big chance to take a bite out of the Roman Empire and do it without too much trouble. Whatever Honoria promised him is unknown, but Attila claimed that she offered her hand in marriage. Producing the ring as evidence, he demanded half the Western Roman Empire as a dowry from Theodosius II, the emperor of the eastern portion. Taken aback, Theodosius sent a messenger to co-emperor Valentinian, advising him to placate the Hun and hand over his sister. Valentinian would have none of it. Giving up Honoria meant giving the Hun a claim to the throne. Torturing Hyrcanus into a confession, Valentinian learned the full story of Honoria's treacherous plans. After lopping off the eunuch's head, he then took aim at his sisters. Only the intercession of their mother, still the real power behind Valentinian's throne, kept it firmly attached to her neck. As penance, however, Honoria was stripped of her Augusta title, forcibly hitched to the senator, and exiled from both courts. Attila, meanwhile, dispatched an embassy to Valentinian's court, declaring Honoria's innocent of all treason, insisting that her imperial title be restored, and, oh yes, demanding that they hand her over as his rightful bride. He was rebuffed. She was married after all. But that didn't stop him from trying again in 452, using the marriage claim as a pretense to invade Italy. Though he didn't manage to conquer Rome, he left a lot of the countryside in ruins while trying. What happened to Honoria after this disastrous episode is unclear. By 455, just 6 years after the unfortunate affair with Eugenius, she dropped off the radar, probably dead. Whether of natural causes or by order of the emperor is up for debate. What is known is that, having fallen out of power and out of favor, she did not live happily ever after. Neither did the Roman Empire. Honoria, it seems, inspired other princesses to try and get out of bad marriages by inviting barbarians over for a bit of tea and sympathy. In 455, for example, Lycia Licinia Eudoxia, forced to marry the successor of her murdered husband Valentinian, took a cue from Honoria and invited the Vandal king Gesseric to lay waste to Rome. Gesseric did so with gusto, sacking the city and taking Licinia and her 2 daughters as willing hostages. Ultimately, Attila's repeated attacks, which lasted until his death in 453, Gasseric's invasion, the predations of other barbarians, and international struggles led to the hacking off of the empire's gangrenous western half. In 476, when the Western Roman Emperor was deposed by the Germanic prince, the great superstate was downsized to the much more manageable Byzantine Empire in the east, and Honoria is remembered as the treacherous princess who held open the door for the invading barbarians. All right, hope you all enjoyed, and see you later. Bye.